a young orphan Jewish woman raised by her cousin, living in a foreign land, unaware that her destiny was about to change forever. This is the story of Esther, the woman who would become Queen of Persia and change the history of an entire people. In the great Persian Empire, King Xerxes organizes a grand banquet. During the feast, he orders his queen, Vashti, to appear before the guests, but she refuses. Angry, the king deposes her and decrees the search for a new queen. Beautiful young women from all over the kingdom are brought to the palace, among them Esther, a young orphan Jewish woman raised by her cousin Mordecai. For months, the candidates undergo beauty treatments before being presented to the king. When it is Esther's turn, the king is captivated by her beauty and grace and chooses her as the new queen of Persia. Esther keeps her Jewish identity a secret. As Mordecai had advised, Esther is now queen, but she still does not know that her people are in great danger. Soon, her courage will be tested. While Esther lives in the palace, a dark plan is being plotted. A powerful man, driven by hatred, wants to exterminate all the Jews. And the queen, unknowingly, is part of this condemned people. Mordecai, who works at the palace gates, discovers a conspiracy against the king and reports the traitors, saving Xerxes' life. At the same time, Haman emerges, an ambitious man who gains the king's trust and is appointed his chief advisor. The king orders everyone to bow before Haman, but Mordecai refuses because his faith does not allow him to worship anyone other than God. Furious, Haman does not want to punish only Mordecai, but to exterminate the entire Jewish people. He convinces the king to sign a decree ordering the death of all Jews in the empire. The decree was sealed. The destruction of the Jews was set. Will Esther discover the truth in time? Fear can paralyze us, but courage can change destinies. Esther faces the most difficult decision of her life: to risk herself to save her people, or to remain silent and watch them die. Mordecai dresses in sackcloth and ashes as a sign of mourning and begs Esther to intercede with the king. Esther hesitates because anyone who approached the king without being summoned could be executed. Mordecai responds, "Who knows if you have not come to the kingdom for such a time as this?" Esther decides to act, but first she calls all the Jews to fast for 3 days. On the third day, Esther puts on her royal robes and presents herself before the king, risking her own life. Xerxes, upon seeing her, extends the scepter, signaling that he accepts her and spares her life. She invites the king and Haman to a banquet. Esther has survived her encounter with the king, but her plan is not yet complete. At the next banquet, she will reveal the truth. Is there still time? Evil always seems to prevail, until justice takes action. Haman thought his plan was perfect, but fate had an unexpected twist in store. While waiting for the second banquet, Haman, still furious with Mordecai, orders the construction of a gallows to hang him. That night, the king cannot sleep and asks for the kingdom's records to be read. He discovers that Mordecai had saved his life but was never rewarded. In the morning, the king asks Haman what should be done for the man the king wishes to honor. Thinking the king is referring to him, Haman suggests royal garments and a parade through the city. To his humiliation, the king orders Haman to do this for Mordecai. At the second banquet, Esther finally reveals her identity and exposes Haman, saying that he planned to destroy her people. The king, enraged, orders that Haman be hanged on the very gallows he had built for Mordecai. Haman was defeated, but the danger was not over. The decree of extermination was still in effect. Was there a way out for the Jews? The courage of one woman changed the fate of a nation. But the battle was not yet won. It was necessary to ensure the survival of the Jewish people. Esther pleads with the king to annul the decree, but according to Persian law, a royal decree cannot be revoked. The king then allows a new decree to be written. The Jews can defend themselves against their enemies. On the appointed day for the massacre, the Jews rise and defeat their oppressors. To celebrate the victory, the Feast of Purim is established. Mordecai is elevated to a position of honor in the kingdom, and Esther continues to be a respected queen. Esther teaches us that courage and faith can change the course of history. She did not choose to be queen, but she chose to use her position for a greater purpose. And you? What will you do with the opportunities you have? If you enjoyed this story, like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring stories of the great women of the Bible.